Right. Yes, hello, hello, and welcome to the Joy Link, where we empower you to expand in joy. Hi, my name is Brian. I'm your co-host along with Julia. Julia, how are you?
I'm doing great, and today we're diving into super important topic. And I have a few questions for you, and I don't know if you can relate to those or not, but who would like to know the secret to a happy life? Or can some relationships be improved? Listen in to find out the answers how to do it.
Yeah, and definitely thank you for tuning in. We definitely appreciate your presence. Yeah, for joining us on this journey towards more joy.
Yeah, we really appreciate. And by listening to this episode, you will learn how to understand yourself better, how to understand your partner and loved ones, which is a big game changer in my opinion. Also, you will learn how to be more intentional and present in your relationship. And something that is super important that you will learn about what does healthy and sustainable relationship look like. We not always have the right examples in our surroundings, but today we'll share what is this relationship, and it's not objective. No, it's not subjective. It's definitely objective. It's not that yes, and also yeah, you will get all the tools and tips that you need to improve relationship with the most important person in the world, which is you, and others in your life.
Yeah, and then we're going to have a nice task of the week as well.
Yes. So, Brian, what's the point of the relationships?
Right. Julia, when you asked me about, hey, let's do an episode on relationships, well, that was the first question that came up. So, what's the point of relationships? Because I've spent about half my life, let's say since I was about 13 and thinking about girlfriends and all that stuff, I've spent half my life single and half my life in relationships. So, I know myself pretty well. And having three relationships, like yeah, with partners, like intimate relationships, from like 3, 5, and 6 years, that takes up most of that time, right? And so we simply have to ask ourselves the important questions first, like what's the intention, right? What's the purpose? What's the mission, right, of actually having and being in relationship? Right? Because there's the hedonic concept versus the eudaimonic concept. And there's also like supporting yourself and others versus needing something from others. So is it to be happy? Right? Because if you're not happy already, well, then you won't find it in a relationship. You'll only bring that unhappiness with you, right? And to
Mm.
you as well. So you may mask it for a while, yet you'll find yourself in a relationship and you'll still be unhappy. Or is it to have companionship, right? Not to be lonely. Well, you might likely still be lonely in relationship, or you'll be clingy, or the other one won't want you around, and then the relationship dies as well. So the why is really the most important thing, right? So first we have to ask ourselves, really, what are we looking for, right? And what are we offering as well? So, right, there's that two-prong approach. And once you know that, then we can define what a healthy, sustainable relationship looks like.
Mm, that's amazing. Because for me, it was quite obvious that relationships are about growth. This is because growth is one of my main values, core values in life. So for me, from every relationship, I'm seeking growth. So that was normal. But also, like I've been single for majority of my life because I had this example but from my home what is not healthy relationship looking like, and I was terrified to get into one because I had this feeling of being trapped in the place where you don't want to be trapped in. So I was like avoiding some of those. So now I'm in a really happy relationship, but it's all about growth. And with this mindset, it's like we are both know that I'm good on my own. You good on your own. Like if you want to, we can create things together. But if we are not respecting each other, if we are not entering the relationship with love and respect one another and self-respect, then there is no place to be. Like, none of us have the capacity to deal with bullshit at this point. So, but this is coming from me knowing myself really well and not going for the trap that if you are not in the relationship, you are not good enough, which is a lot of society is doing that. It's like, oh, you got to partner up, you got to be in the relationship, because otherwise your value as a woman or a man is not, it's decreasing, or it's no such a thing. Like, for me, if you cannot be alone and you jump into the relationship, then you have not issue with being in a relationship, but maybe with being on your own. And that's the big problem.
Right. Yeah. So what does Harvard have to say about it?
Yeah, so there is this amazing studies made by Harvard University that is one of the longest, or I think it's the longest study in the world. And it's answering one of the questions that we all want to know, like, what makes us happy in life? And yeah, and what not, because it's quite obvious that if the happier you are, the longer you live, right? So the things that makes us happy in the long term, not like a quick happy, right? Then they are help us live longer. So basically in 1938, researchers from Harvard University, they started to track 724 participants all over the world. And they were asking every now and then asking their detailed questions about their life in 2 years intervals. So every 2 years they were making checkpoints. So yeah, so some people they were participants, they are no longer with us, but this is what they came out. So people think that career achievement, money, exercise, or healthy diet, those are the things that makes us live long and be happy, which is not the outcome of the studies, because in the outcome of the study is that the positive, here, keyword, positive relationship keeps us happier, healthier, and help us live longer. That's it. So what's the point? Having happy relationships, positive relationships in life, they makes us feel more secure. Because of that, we're happier, and because of that, we live longer. And that's why there are so many studies about Southern European communities of older people that they are 100 years old, or like, and they are keep going, right? Or this Japanese centurions. And it's because of that, because they are in the community and they are full of positive relationships, and they have people in their close circle that they know that they can depend, that they can rely on. And that's what makes the big difference in life.
Yeah, being together as a community and also with your significant other as well, those bring more joy to our lives. And being more joyful can extend our life because we want to be here, right? Because things are really fun and active and exciting and different and new. And it's like you have this wonderful interaction with the people that are close to you, and that makes you want to stay here longer, not miss any big moment, to support them and then to experience all the fun of it as well.
Yeah, and on the other hand, just to highlight it, you can eat organic food, you can sleep 8 hours, you can exercise, but if you have negative people around you, they will drain your energy. Like, you gotta say bye, I gotta go, or I have a bath, or I need to wash my hair. It doesn't matter. Like, you gotta cut yourself from negative people, because it's a decision that somebody is making on their own, how they are showing up. And if you tolerate that, it's on you. If you go, it's on you. If you stay, it's on you. So it's super important to make sure that people in your life, they are supporting your dreams, that they are positive, not fake positive, but they are able to give you constructive feedback. But at the end of the day, they really care, and they do not feel threatened by your success, which takes a bit time. But as you advance yourself, I can promise you, you will find these people.
Right. Yeah. The more you're believing in yourself, the more you're going to attract people that believe in you as well. Yeah. Having that close-knit group around you is really, really incredibly important. And especially when you're doing a lot of new things as well, you're experimenting and, facing a lot of uncertainty. It's nice to share those experiences and get that support, and then also feel good from both inside and out as well.
Yeah. When I think about my close circle, I feel like almost emotional, because it's just amazing by what kind of people I'm surrounded. And it took maybe a year difference, right? Like from it's just such a big difference. It's just crazy. That is yeah, it just it's amazing. It's amazing. And but this has also shown like my growth, because I've been working my ass off like the entire year, not only business wise, but it was also like working on emotional, like processing the things, communicating about it, learning why I'm showing up in this way and how do I want to show up, and striving for it. And this shows in the area. But I really like it that if you are surrounded only by negative people, then you might be negative as well, right?
Yeah,
So
it has a way of rubbing off.
yeah, so when you usually the things that we're complaining about, that's what we represent with ourselves. Because yeah, so it's really important to pay attention to your circle.
Right. Yeah, I think it was Abraham Maslow said you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And so it's important that we're leveling up. We're averaging up. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
But he also said that the most important is your partner or spouse that you choose as a life partner, because it's crazy important. And actually, I didn't think much about it, but last year at the beginning of the year, when I heard this tip about making a list of the qualities that you want in partner, I got it recommended from my friend that she was working with this amazing life coach. And I'm like, okay, I don't have the funds to work with that coach, but tell me what she taught you and I will do it. And
Right.
that's exactly what happened. And I wrote the list of 6 points, what is important for me. And actually all the points came to life. But I was very clear that the health as a core value, it's important. And also like this curiosity and the health, peace of mind, that like that those things were important. And that's exactly what I received from the universe, or that's exactly what I attracted. So this was amazing. And it's actually, yeah, it's working, because those are the things that are important for me as well. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, yeah, that's also really lovely to hear, right? Because it's an idea that came true, right? Just
Yeah.
by working on yourself first, figuring out what you wanted, and then just being open when it arrives.
Yeah, that's that. Like, I'm still mind blown how it happened. But yeah, it's just the universe or the word is constructed in the mysterious way. But speaking about it, so what is interesting that there are so many people out there, right, with so many different backgrounds, but they can all fall into category of 5 love languages. So Brian, do you want to say what love languages are?
So these are the 5 different ways that we both receive and we can give love, right? There's like 5 different areas. And this is from a book that was first published in, well, let's say, right in the early 90s. And yeah, these 5 languages can culminate the 5 different ways that we can really communicate with both ourselves and others.
Yeah, and I absolutely love the concept. I've been living by it since I heard about it. So
Right.
the 5 love languages. So it's maybe you will hear yourself a little bit while I'm explaining those. So number one is quality time. So you feel loved and appreciate the most when somebody spends the time with you. And to show someone that you enjoy is the biggest gift that you can give to that person. It's your time. That's quality time. Second one is the word of affirmations. And this is by receiving compliments, but not a fake compliments, like a truly thought through compliments, right? And then this is how you also give affection to others, by complimenting them with the words. So this is word of affirmations. Then is a physical touch, that you feel loved and affection by gentle touch. And it doesn't need to be like this touch that is like intimate, but it can be also like a squeeze of the hand, or like a shoulder, or like I know people with physical touch. This is my love language. I like to do a little massage on people that they feel comfortable with. So that's one of the love languages as well. So maybe this is one of yours. And then there's receiving gifts, that some people to feel loved they need to receive gifts. But the thing is that it doesn't need to be like Porsche or something big. It could be a little love note, or you can go small. You can go small, big, but it's the thing about thinking about someone. It could be you travel and then you bring chocolate for that person. That's already a gift. And then the last one, I think it's a lot of people, they have this love language. It's act of service. It's just when you want to do something for the others and you like when somebody do something for you. So I don't know if you can hear some of them. And just to tell you, you can be more than one. Usually people have two love main languages. As you learn and grow, you can practice all. I think we all should practice all the love languages. Yeah, Brian. So which one are you?
I really appreciate the quality time and also the personal touch, right? And then, of course, the acts of service. It's more than words, it's actions, right? So I really gravitate towards that physical touch and the service in the quality time more than the like words of affirmation or someone saying something and the gifts either, right? So I'm really gravitating toward the three versus the
Yeah, and
five.
just let's take it as an example. Maybe it happened already, right? That let's say you have a partner that her main love languages are receiving gifts and word of affirmations. How, this is the beauty of the concept that your partner would need to learn how to show love and express love in the ways how you prefer to receive it, right? And then you would need to learn that her words of affirmations and receiving gifts, it's you would need to receive that type of love, and then you would need to learn how to get that love, right? So, oh, I don't care about gifts. Okay, good, but your partner cares. Yeah,
Right.
so it's
Well, yeah,
fascinating.
that's the funny part as well, because I could care less about receiving gifts, right? Because I cherish the time more, yet I'm totally into giving gifts, right? So it's a
Right?
very opposite thing. And then I also like the verbalization or like the expressing the words of affirmation, what they're called, right? Compliments, that kind of thing. Yet I don't care to receive them,
Hmm.
right? Right. So I love doing those, but
Yeah, and since I love the concept so much, I will just add one more thing for you guys, that the love languages, if you have the ability to do it or not, it's usually coming from your parents. And I remember that I had like a super hard time. Now I'm really good at it. I hope that I'm doing good, that people that they are in my life, that they know that I'm appreciated by them, by my verbal words. But it wasn't like that. I need to work on it. And in this book that you were talking about, it's called Five Love Languages. It was that how to work with word affirmations, that you need to like when you talk with your parent, right? And you say like I love you at the end of the conversation. And the first stage, I think it took me half a year, like just to get by. And then there was a second stage from the book. It was like, I love you and I appreciate everything that you've done for me, to me. I know that you didn't have it easy. For me, like the second level, I think it took me another year to nail it, but it was worth it, because now I can communicate about those feelings without crying. But I know that I'm sure that a lot of people that you are listening, they're now like, oh my God, I could never express that, or my parents would never, like they would be shocked. But that's the thing, that there are so many emotional close downs or shutdowns or repetitive patterns. But who cares? Like, you're an adult, you need to figure it out. Like, even if it takes sweating a little bit to say I love you to my parents, it's worth it, because that's helped me to love myself more and showing up better for people in my life. So yeah.
I think you hinted to it a little bit, but what are your love languages?
Oh, it's, I think now it's a lot, but at the beginning it was the physical touch and quality time. Yeah. And I just have this funny story. I have my best friend. She's amazing. And like, I think we spend a lot of time together traveling and whatnot. But I remember once she came to, when I went for a work trip, she came, and it was my birthday. She came to the city and she stayed with me in the hotel. And then I was leaving early because the plane back to Denmark was early. And like I knew that she didn't have the toothpaste. So I left a little bit of a toothpaste on her toothbrush. And I think she has never felt loved by me more than seeing this toothbrush like full of toothpaste in the morning. I was like, she was so appreciative of it. And that kind of says that her act of service was quite big, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Those are the things, like you said, the acts of service, the physical touch, the quality time. You can't really fake those. Yeah, those are why they feel the most genuine to me.
I don't know. I think the gifts, for example, when it comes to receiving gifts, like my boyfriend is getting plenty of notes from me, like when I'm feeling it, like to express my gratitude, or also, so
Right.
I think I love to practice them all, just to have the
Yeah.
whole love picture to everyone. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think it's a fun challenge. So, okay, just since we're talking, diving into, since now you know the love languages, what does, yeah, healthy and sustainable relationship look like? Because there are so many relationships and we know so many dramas, Netflix TV series, but what is the healthy and sustainable in all of that?
Right. Yeah, that's a really good question. So for that, we can go back to Seneca and the Stoics. And what they say is we want to fortify our pertinacity
What does
until
it mean?
let,
Everyone is like, thank God that she asked,
let me define it here. It's holding extremely persistent or unwielding, right? So to fortify our extremely persistent will to good until it becomes our disposition to good. Like instead of wanting to be good, we become good, we act good, right? And fortifying that persistently. So we're doing what's most honorable for us in what we find most pleasurable. And so it's like a sense of coming together to support each other and flourish. And that's really that eudaimonic sense of joy. And
Mm.
so there's a couple good examples in pop culture when we're talking about
Now
soul,
we talking.
right? Right. So we're talking about soulmates, right? So in that movie, Jerry Maguire, he talks about you complete me, right? And so definitely sure that you're not going to lead to a deep, fulfilling, sustainable relationship unless there's some sort of evolution that happens, right? That's more of like the hedonic pop culture, right? That physical pleasure and needing someone else to complete you, right? It's important that we complete ourselves into being a more deeper, grounded, more eudaimonic sense of passion, right? And so in the other movie, here's a good example. It's As Good as It Gets. Jack Nicholson, he says, you make me want to be a better man. And
Mm.
so that's where we want to be starting from, by loving the good in your partner and then supporting them in the development of that good and to work to become a better person yourself.
Yeah, and it's such a different then energy, because some people are like, "Oh, you are so good that I don't deserve you." No, it's like I want to be deserving, or like I want to step up my game because I perceive you in this highlight that maybe you don't. And this is like beautiful when this energy is like um kind of going off each other, right? Like, okay, you want to be better, I want to be better. And this is like just such a beautiful like way of showing up. Yeah, I can definitely see that, because I feel like I really like this book by Rafael Ruiz. I think it's for sure it's Ruiz.
Yeah.
He wrote the book for agreements, but he wrote a book about mastery of love. And what I liked about it, that it's that when we go into the relationship, we have first it's you, right? And then you think about how are you should be in this relationship, and then you have an image of a partner that should be in the relationship that you are, right? So
Right.
instead of two people, we are talking about six people interacting, and that's why everything is crashing. And it's also about that we have this parasite within us that is like anger, jealousy, all of that. And what the parasite wants is just attention, right? So when you are angry at someone, what you expect is for someone to be angry back. But when they are not angry back, then you're like, relax, right? So it's not living off. So this is what this is about, that in this book that the what a relationship about is like about being servant of love, that you are going beyond yourself. It's not about you. It's not about what do I get out of it. Like, okay, I do this and how do I benefit from it? It's like about being servant. And when the two partners are serving one another, that's how free and sustainable relationship is happening, because it's this beautiful flow about like, I don't need anything from you and you don't need anything from me, but we want to do that for one another.
Right. Yeah, you're making each other better by
Yeah.
coming together, right?
Yeah.
And it's more of a thriving energy because you're better together. I mean, when we're by ourselves, we can be incredibly strong and sovereign, right? But when we come together, that energy doubles, right? Because you got two sovereign, very strong people that come together, then you've got that support system so that when you are in a vulnerable state, well, then that person is there to remind you,
Mm.
to hold you as you both are growing through it.
Do
And
I know you have some action steps, because it seems like, oh, it sounds so nice, and but yeah, like when I wasn't in this kind of relationship, it seems like a fairy tale that we're talking about, which is totally achievable. But I know that we like to get as practical as it gets on the joining. So how
right,
do we do that? How do they do that? How we all can do it. And also it's good to be reminded about it.
right. Yeah, so there is this four-step process. It's called SNAP, a four-step process to really putting relationship to work, right? To being strong and supporting yourself and the other. So the first letter S is to start strong, right? So you make a public commitment. Like this could be something, or it could be a private commitment with your partner, right? So you make a commitment. And then the N of the part two is no exceptions, right? So it's 100% non-negotiable. And this also goes into all these habit forming books, right? About mini habits, tiny habits. Yet, because it's easier to go in 100% on something than it is to go 99%. Because
Mm,
when that whiny voice comes up, that little 1%, you're going to entertain it, but
mm,
not if there's absolutely no exceptions like this. I'm committed to this, and we simply don't entertain it at all. There's no negotiation, right? And so then the third part is the A is always act. So this is really fighting through that negotiation process or that little whiny voice. It's like, nope, I'm acting.
mm.
So you're committing with no exception and you're acting on those commitments. And then the final part, the P, is to practice exercising your will. By simply staying flexible with your will, you never know when you'll need it. I mean, this is why we're really needing to exercise it every day, right? If it's like with our bodies or our words or right, we're gonna hit our limits and then simply do one more,
Mm-hmm.
right? So really practicing putting that commitment into action. And then really we just want to do it joyfully. So really have fun with it, right? Because it's a process. And knowing that you can handle anything that the world throws at you, then we can always start over, right? We can always just right take it easy on ourselves during the process. So that's the SNAP process, right? Starting strong, no exceptions, always act, and then practice exercising your will.
All right, but how does it relate to the relationship? Like, to be practical. So let's say somebody, you, for example, I see it, let's take it abusive relationship, right?
That's a
I,
that's a tough one.
yeah, so that's a tough one. So in this process, how would you walk it through the formula?
Well, there is first that commitment of
Mhm.
let's say the thing I will no longer tolerate,
Okay.
right? And so making that a public commitment. So expressing yourself
Mhm.
to your partner or your let's say the other person in this scenario, if it's a group of people even, right? It could be your family, could be 4 or 5 of them, and stating what you will tolerate and what you won't. from now on. So making it public, right? Putting a line in the sand. I will not be treated like this any longer, right? And then the no exceptions. So when it happens, we need to act on it. So as part of that commitment, it can be when this happens, I will do this instead of what I used to do. So what is that new act, right? I will not be, let's say, triggered by this, and I will always detach or leave the area. Right? I will do whatever it is healthiest for me in that moment. So when someone treats me poorly, let's say, right? Or, just sends out some toxic negativity or whatever it is, I'm not going to engage. So the response would be, I'm not going to tolerate this from you any longer. I've told you this, and so I'm leaving, right? Until you calm down or until you, right, can treat me differently, and then walk away. Right? So that's the exercising. And you always act on that commitment, right? Because it sets a new relationship dynamic. And that can be with anything. It can be in the abusive relationship. It can be in the respectful relationship. When I hear a compliment, I'm going to give a compliment back, right? Right? I'm going to voice my positive support of my partner anytime that it comes up. I'm not going to forget it or blow it off. Everything that they do, I'm going to make sure that they know I see it. I'm aware. I'm paying attention. So it's all those little things that you could show appreciation for during the day. And then instead of seeing it and not acting on it, no, I'm going to tell them how great this makes me feel. And I really appreciate that either the dishes are done or the house is clean or whatever it is.
Yeah, totally. No,
Right.
no, I just wanted to hear it a little bit more practical, because sometimes the frameworks, they're like, okay, cool, but how do I get to it, right? So
how do I use it?
yeah, but I definitely like it that it's this saying. I heard that you saying it before, that it's easier to commit 100% than 99, because your mind will always somehow find a way to talk you out of something. And yeah, you can definitely, guys, commit to 100% experiencing more joy in your life and listening to us every Tuesday and Friday. Just saying, that's a side note. And yeah, I think we extended our time a little bit today. So let's get to the task of the week. So the task is quite simple. We would like you to find out what is your love language. You can do it by doing this online quiz that I will put in the show notes. It's absolutely life-changing. And also, since you know your love language and you know the concept more, you can start seeing the love language in your partner. It can be your best friend, it could be your business partner, like any close relationship. And then once you get the idea, do one thing in their love language capacity, and that they understand, right? That they understand through their like love glasses with this language. So that's the task. You do the quiz. You do the find out what is your partner. You can send the quiz, love language, and then you do one nice thing. And also, yeah, in this episode we covered so many things. So starting from what's the point of the relationship to how positive relationships are leading to joyful life. Also, you learned about my favorite concept of 5 love languages. Brian introduced to you what is healthy and sustainable relationship looking like, and what kind of steps you can take to act on it. And if you found the episode valuable, please share it with the loved ones. Share the joy, spread the word, and that will help us grow the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for tuning in. And we hope this was definitely very valuable to you and empowering and adding more joy to your relationships and the relationship with yourself as well. So thanks.
Yes, and make sure to join our Facebook group to hang out more. Yeah, we love to hear your feedback. So thank you so much for tuning in one more time. Bye.
Yep. Ciao, ciao.